Welcome! Today, we are going to explore an idea that might change the way you see the world. The idea that reality is not something that simply happens to us, but a story we are constantly writing ourselves. And we will unpack the theory that explains how this fascinating architecture works. To begin, think about this. What if the major problems we face as a society, poverty, inequality, polarization, did not actually originate in economics or politics, but in the stories we tell ourselves? To understand why a theory like this is so necessary for disciplines such as social work, we first need to look at a deeper issue, a long-standing identity crisis within this professional field. For decades, social work has functioned by borrowing theoretical frameworks. It has lacked its own unified, native theory. It has relied on concepts from psychology, sociology, and other sciences to carry out its work. This dependence on external tools, often incompatible with one another, has produced a fragmented approach to human problems that are, by nature, profoundly complex. This has limited the discipline's ability to see itself as autonomous, with a clear identity and the potential to become a true human science. The theorist Nigel Parton summarizes it perfectly. He calls it epistemological subordination. That is, by depending on other disciplines, social work places itself in a subordinate position, which restrains its enormous potential to generate its own knowledge and, more importantly, to drive deep social change. But as often happens, crises give rise to revolutions. In response, a completely new paradigm has emerged, conceived and built from and for social work, with the potential to extend to other social and human sciences as well. It's called TCCR. Yes, its full name is quite a tongue twister, Cognosystemic Theory of Human Psychosocial Relational Construction, created by the Chilean social worker Jalin Simunovic. Don't worry about the name, focus on the central idea, simple, yet powerful. It proposes that our psychosocial reality is not something fixed, but something we actively construct through the stories we create, share, and live. Here enters its key concept, the Cognosystem. Imagine it as a vast living ecosystem, an immense network of information and meanings, like in the movie The Matrix, but instead of code, it is made of interlinked human stories, what the theory calls cognosystemic narrative systems. In this ecosystem, personal, family, and cultural stories constantly interact and influence one another, shaping what we call psychosocial reality. It operates across 5 interconnected psychosocial levels. For example, think of a young person. Their microsystem consists of their closest stories. I'm good at sports. My family supports me, I'm lucky. The mesosystem is the connection between those stories, how family support reinforces their identity as an athlete at school. The exosystem includes what doesn't happen directly to them but still affects them, perhaps the narrative of economic crisis at their father's workplace, creating tension at home. The macrosystem contains the great cultural stories, what it means to be a man, or what success means in that society. And the chronosystem is time itself, how stories evolve through life stages and historical events. As you can see, it's impossible to separate one from another. And here is where we see the power of this theoretical model. On the left, imagine the traditional, fragmented view trying to understand the young person's problem by analyzing each piece separately. On the right, the TCCR view, seeing everything as one integrated system. It allows for a complete, holistic analysis of their reality. A fundamental property of this ecosystem, of course, is interconnectivity. Stories flow in every direction within the ecosystem, from top to bottom, bottom to top, and sideways. A small change in your personal story, believe it or not, can create ripples that, over time, may come to influence larger cultural narratives. And there is another extraordinary quality, narrative plasticity. Our stories are not carved in stone, they are flexible. They have an astonishing capacity to adapt and reorganize when we experience something new, without losing our sense of self. In fact, this plasticity is the foundation of our capacity to overcome adversity, our resilience. Okay, the theory is fascinating, no doubt. But what's the point if it stays only in books? Its real power emerges when we bring it into the real world, into practice. How does it change the work of professionals who are with people every day? The change is radical. It's no longer about fixing a behavior or an isolated symptom. The focus shifts to the system of stories, the narratives that are generating that problem. The role of the professional changes too. From a mere technician applying methods to a genuine co-constructor, a partner who helps people create new, more functional narratives that give them greater power over their own lives, both individually and collectively. And the benefits are enormous. By understanding cultural stories, this approach enables work that is far more respectful and contextually relevant. It empowers individuals and communities by giving them back the pen to write their own story. It strengthens resilience by making those stories more adaptable. And perhaps most revolutionary of all, it opens the door to genuine social change, because it allows us to target the great narratives, those of the macro system, which so often sustain structural problems. And here lies the key point, one that goes beyond any professional discipline. This is not just a theory for experts. At its core, it is a manual for understanding the most powerful force we possess as human beings. The historian Yuval Noah Harari puts it clearly. Our true superpower as a species is that we can invent stories and believe in them collectively. Money, nations, human rights, all of these exist because millions of people believe in the same story. And that enables us to cooperate on a scale that no other species can. The Cognosystemic theory, the TCCR, gives us the map to understand how that superpower works. And it leaves us with one final question, one that each of us must answer in our own daily life. And you, with every story you tell yourself and share with others, what reality are you currently constructing?
If you wish to obtain the original work that gave rise to this approach, Cognosystemic Theory of Human Psychosocial Relational Construction, TCCR, a unified theoretical proposal for social work by Jalin Simunovic. You can find it on Amazon Books, which offers international shipping.